Hello, and welcome to Seriously Pointless Conversations About Culture, the podcast where myself and a few of my friends get together and discuss nerdy things. Just a reminder, if you like what you're listening to, please subscribe to Seriously Pointless Conversations YouTube channel, or you can find us on your favorite podcasting apps. Thank you for your support. Without you, none of this would be possible. Thanks for coming by. Now let's get into the episode. Hi, and welcome to Seriously Pointless Conversations About Culture, your Seriously Pointless podcast about all your nerdy and geek things and your spooky news for October, James.
Welcome to Spooktober.
That's right. We're getting ready. You already get spooked all over, just everywhere. Yeah, you thought I wasn't going to do it, did you?
Just keep away from the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. What if they're of age? Is it better? They're over 18? Is that okay? 18
That's a little better, but
it's a little better.
But not okay.
It's still creepy grandpa territory. It's creepy old guy neighbor territory.
Yeah, let's just not do that.
Is that popsicle? Little popsicle territory. You want a popsicle? That's why I come on here. Get over here, Chris. Anyway, so hi, I'm your host David. And again, obviously, you've heard James's sultry and dulcet tones coming across the airwaves at you again. We are hitting this October with this news segment that we have for you today. We're going to be hitting all the wonderfully spooky and scary news, which is not scary at all, probably, most likely.
Does Chris Pratt's voice count as scary?
It's definitely scary. It's almost as bad as Jack Black trying to be Bowser. So
I thought the Jack Black's Bowser wasn't too terrible.
It's better than Chris Pratt's Mario.
It helps that Bowser doesn't have like an iconic voice of Bowser.
No,
just kind of a rah, 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 rah. As long as you have the laugh, you can do whatever the heck you want with Bowser.
I have some opinions on this, and there's definitely a story in there that we're gonna have to get to. But
we'll get to that, yeah.
Yeah, that's all the story later on. But yeah, this is gonna be our October news segment, guys. We're gonna try and hit as much as we can, and obviously this is just a random grab bag of things. If we miss anything, let us know. If you think there's more pertinent news out there, but again, obviously this is our show and our opinions matter about what we put on the show. And I'm going to be fair. If you want us to do something, you need to send us some letters. And tell us what we want.
Is anyone sending us letters?
My wife critiques us. You would be surprised. They're not letters, but they're strongly voiced opinions on how we should do things.
Well, we should probably take notes then.
Yeah, it's definitely like, why do you guys talk about fart jokes and spooking on top of people? And I'm like, well, it is what it is. So
it's Spooktober.
It's spooky Halloween.
If you can't put a few spooky boys out there, then
that's right.
What's the point?
I know, spooky boys. I don't know. What is a spooky boy? Is it just like a male ghost? Is that
a spooky boy is a skeleton meme that you post on Reddit.
Okay, so I can deal with that.
When they have Spooktober, everyone starts posting memes of skeletons, and they call them spooky boys.
All right, I'm going to be this spooky, scary skeletons.
Right.
Send shivers down your spine. All right, then I will definitely send out some spooky boys to you later on. Just like it's going to be nothing but spooky boys for the rest of October.
That is
in our Discord
and acceptable.
I'm going to see how long it takes Tara to be just done with it. So
probably about 3 spooky boys. Well, she's like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm done with this.
Yeah, that's 100% there. So, all right, James, before we get into the news, obviously it is customary for us to talk about what we have been up to. And it's been kind of like I said, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but it's definitely been a little bit of a rough last month roughly. But what have you, I know you've been busy with working a lot of extra stuff, but have you been really, how about this? What are you looking forward to playing? How about that? Can I say that? Ask you that?
What am I looking forward to playing next?
Yeah. Or watching even.
I think watching, I'm eager to check out the new season of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm eager to check out the new season of this Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
That has become all the rage all of a sudden. I'm excited to see it.
What's not to love about a dude with chainsaws for hands and a face?
Well, I'm just interested to see how it goes, right?
Like, what is it? Yeah,
If
it's
it's just a slasher blood anime, then it probably won't end up being the thing for me.
like
But if there's more going on to it, then it might be really, really entertaining. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. And
I'm gonna put money on it's just a slasher, and it's probably gonna be one episode watch. Probably
one episode and done. We'll see. We'll see. Those are definitely some things I'm looking forward to watching. And I know there's more stuff coming out this season too.
That's okay. While you're
We'll think about it as we go.
yeah, while you're looking,
It'll come back to me.
no, gameplay wise,
Gameplay wise, the new Pokemon game is coming out, which I know you're not going to play it, but I'm going to play it.
you can play it for the both of us.
I will probably go ahead and play the Ni no Kuni 2 at some point.
Nice.
But there is some interesting stuff coming out in October, though.
Yeah, which this is actually part of some of the stuff that I'm looking forward to.
I know there's some stuff here you've been really looking forward to for a long time in this list. Overwatch 2, though, is what I've been playing the most already.
So played a lot with you too. I was pleasantly surprised by it.
I gotta say, Overwatch 2 is pretty awesome. Now, I know that there is a lot of controversy about how long it took, and it hurts my heart.
For
watching the Dino Flask video that came out the same day the show came out did a lot to soothe my noble feelings.
That usually does it for you normally. So,
but I've got to say the game is better in almost every way except for the monetization.
Yeah,
which was necessary. I don't necessarily agree with all the choices they made, but the fact that the game was going to have to be better monetized to support a live service constantly releasing games type of cycle was inevitable. And as much as it hurts me to look at it, it is very comparable with what other titles are doing.
Well, it was also a move on their part, though, to kind of bypass those loot box laws that they have in some of the European countries that basically just straight up banned Overwatch.
Yes, quite a bit of Asia. Some parts of Asia have loot boxes entirely banned. Some require like published statistics.
Yeah.
But yeah, gambling laws for online games have tightened a lot in the last 5 years, and like Overwatch 1, like you said, is all but illegal in some of those countries.
Yeah,
so.
Which to be fair, I kind of agree with it. A part of me agrees with it a little bit, but I also understand, the reason they have behind it. But also, you also see them still using those kind of mechanics in things like handheld mobile games like Diablo Immortal. So
it's not a loot box; it's a gameplay mechanic. You have to
kiss
kill a
my
boss.
ass.
You kill a boss first. That means it's not a loot box; it's a loot drop.
Kiss my pale white butt, James. Oh my god, it was awful. So,
yeah, no, it's the hypocrisy is thick, but
yes.
But I've got to say, the gameplay is better than ever. They got rid of the assault maps that everyone hated. They drastically toned down the amount of crowd control and shields in the game.
Very much.
The changes for a lot of the heroes are subtle, but very, very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And things have been rebalanced around a 1 tank, 2 TPS, 2 healer setup, which means the tanks can feel satisfyingly chunky and tanky without completely destroying the game. So no more goats meta, which is great.
Phenomenal, yeah. I mean,
anyway, the game is buttery smooth now. It's fun. I'm hoping that the promised single player, or not single player,
kind of like challenges and trials, almost kind
challenges.
of.
It was going to be like a PVE, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the PVE campaign actually happens. From what everyone's talking about, it sounds like they actually developed the PVE campaign for 2 years straight. Then realized that Blizzard was kind of screwed with everything else that had been going on, and we've talked about Blizzard's issues in the past. But
perfect company.
But they needed a new cash cow, so they pumped out the current game mode in about a year. But I'm hoping the PvE campaign doesn't go to waste. It sounds like they developed like 30-point talent trees for every hero, and they look really, really cool.
Let me ask you this: are the talent trees going to affect your multiplayer games at all with stuff like?
I don't think that was the intention. I think the talent trees were going to be part of a PvE experience, and it was going to be like a 4-player squad versus a map or an objective or whatever you're trying to do. And there was going to be a mixture of like storyline stuff that was happening in a campaign through like a series of set challenges, and then also some more randomized daily quest type things where you're trying to overcome whatever the challenge of the day is.
It's cool.
The
I will
idea being
enjoy
that
that.
you and your friends could pick your favorite characters, you could adjust your loadouts and your talents, and then try to beat something together, which sounds like a lot of fun as long as it's suitably challenging. I think we
Yeah.
would enjoy that. But anyway, that's on the table for now. I'm just aware that when Fortnite came out, for example, it was supposed to have a big survival PvE
They
setup
never did. Yeah.
that never materialized, and now it's just a live access battleground game. But
Which
anyway,
yeah.
that's enough about Overwatch 2. It's great. The
Yep.
looks got updated, the gameplay's updated. It's
Even
back
with,
in the big way.
yeah, even with the battle pass, it's still a fun play. So
And as far as battle passes go, there's a lot on it, and
Yes.
you actually level it up pretty quick.
Yep.
I've played probably only like 5 or 6 hours total so far, and I'm already like level 12 on the battle pass. So the no lifers have probably long since finished it, even though the game's only been out like 2 weeks.
sounds about right. Yeah.
So even if you're a old folks casual, you can still, I think, get good value out of the battle pass.
We are all of our friends are filthy casuals. We will not pay for such a battle pass.
Anyway, other games that we're looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you are looking forward to Plague Tale Requiem.
So definitely at the time of this episode, of us recording this episode, it is out finally. And it's loaded on my PC, and that's when I plan on, once I get the kiddies to bed and seeing if my wife wants to go take an early nap or her early bed, I will probably wiggle my way down here. If not, it'll probably be a Made in the Abyss episode, and then right after that, I'm coming down here. So I'll probably get a good hour and a half in tonight of playing it, and then I'll probably have to wait until next week to play anymore. But I am super stoked for this because I loved the first game, and it's a very linear storytell type game, and I'm interested to see if they keep that same kind of like story push. I'm interested to see what new kind of game mechanics they have in here. There's probably going to be a lot more to do with her brother in this game, because you got to play a little bit as him in the last game, but not as much. And I don't know if you played it at all, but he definitely has psychic abilities.
He's got some spookiness going on.
So I'm interested to see if they let us do a little bit more with him in this game.
It seems like the logical progression of the story from what we talked about during our review of the first one. It sounds like that's where they have to go with this, right?
Yeah, really, really excited for it. So if you guys haven't seen it, it is out at the time of this recording. So go and check it out. So what else are you looking forward to, James, on this list? I know
cautiously optimistic about Coral Island. I am a sucker for a good farming sim.
I know you are.
Stardew Valley was amazing. I played a lot of Harvest Moon back in the day. I'm gonna wait and see about this one
because it's still early access.
It's in early access. I mean, my time at Sandport has also been in early access for a while, and looks like that one's going to be even more amazing than the first one. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I was a little excited about the last Ori Crew, in that it looks like it's an action RPG, but the trailers are confusing to me. Because it's billed as an action RPG, but the combat clips they show in the trailer looks like Skyrim era combat, which is just not really acceptable at this point.
Skyrim combat was never my jam, honestly. So,
which was really the worst part of an otherwise very great game.
It really was.
I don't know, and the theming is mixed up. Like, it's got some clearly fantasy and some clearly sci-fi.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. The trailer we watched. Yeah,
I'll wait till it comes out, and I'll look at a review or two.
And maybe it'll end up dropping off of on a Game Pass or one of the other PlayStation game or PlayStation
the Dragon
Plus.
Ball Breakers game. I am very intrigued by.
I know you are.
It's Dragon Ball Z, which is cool, of course.
Yeah.
But it's got it's an asymmetric game mode where it looks like there's a big bad guy and a big good guy, and then there's some random farmers doing side quests.
To me, it honestly looks just like a Dead by Daylight kind of reskin kind of thing. So I don't know if you ever played Dead by Daylight. It's the same kind of mechanic. Like, you literally there's one big bad guy, and he is more powerful than all the other players, and that you have to play one person gets to play as the big bad guy, and then there's 4 other people, and you have to try to work together to try to get away from you get to a car or telephone or whatever the heck it is to get all that stuff working, to basically get outside of it. And that's what it seems like. But this seemed like it had an extra mechanic thrown in where you have one, it's like maybe
Looked
like
like there
two
was
or three of the people are, with a lack of a better word, civvies, and then there's one like stronger person that can kind of like,
Yeah.
but is not as strong as like say the big bad person.
Yeah, so I don't know. It looks cool. You're right. It's something which has been done
You
before.
you just want to play as Goku, don't you?
You know, I kind of want to play as the little pig guy and turn into things and hide. That sounds more
Okay, fair enough.
fun.
He is a fun
But
he's a fun little character to play as. So other games I'm looking for. So I'm super excited about Gotham Knights. I don't know if you saw gameplay of this, but this is essentially the the Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight kind of like successor
Mhm.
game where you're not playing as Batman, but you're playing as either Nightwing, Batgirl, Red Hood, or Robin. And they all kind of have their own unique play style of how they play, and they have their own little like tech tree or skill trees essentially. I'm looking forward to it mainly because you can play as co-op, and I don't know if it's like up to 4 or it's just 2. I don't know.
I mean, looking at the pictures of the box art, everything always shows fours. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's going to be 4-player co-op.
that would be really fun, and I'm really looking forward to because I loved even
Four
even
player co-op superhero games are fun.
even the Arkham Knight game, which wasn't done by Rocksteady, which I know this one isn't as either. It's still like one of my. I still enjoy it. I still enjoyed it enough to where I played it multiple times. And I'm kind of hoping this is what it is like this with
Mhm.
this one. I will probably not buy this day one, but I'm hoping that maybe by like Christmas or something, it either will get a discount on it, or maybe if I'm lucky, it'll come to Game Pass in the next 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So, and if that's the case, I will definitely be right up that alley to play with you. So,
Yeah, that was like it looks like a lot of fun.
uh, on the Nintendo front, though, we got Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which I am a sucker for SOCOM type stuff. So,
Yeah, your tactical stuff is all for
yeah,
you.
my turn-based RPG type stuff. I always
Mhm.
like that kind of stuff, and it's just goofy. I know the rabbits bother you immensely and how they look.
It
So
don't bother me that much. It's those types of like large, like Final Fantasy Tactics style games. I'm just not into those.
it's okay.
I know they're your jam though, so I hope you
I
have a lot of
definitely
fun
like
with that.
tactical turn-based RPGs. So
I know the first Mario Rabbids was hugely successful.
it's really good.
Hopefully, this one will be good too.
I'm just amazed that Nintendo let Ubisoft get a hold of it at all and start to make something with it, which is just kind of unheard
I
of.
mean, it's not their first partnership with Ubisoft though. But
So yeah, but it's just
I
surprised.
mean, we saw what they did back in the day with Square Enix whenever they did Mario RPG. I mean, they pass off their titles now and then.
That's true.
Bayonetta 3 is coming out,
Yep.
which is fraught with a little bit of controversy.
Yeah.
The voice actress for Bayonetta herself apparently got offered an insultingly low amount of money to do the whole series.
Well,
Which I don't know what the going rate for a voice actor for a video game is. It's probably not that much.
no, probably
Probably
not.
less than you would expect. Probably she got offered like 4 or 8 grand or something to do the voice work.
Seriously, dang.
I don't know how much or how long it takes to do that. Like how many lines are in this type of game.
I mean, I would think it's something at least like
Apparently
a.
she threw a fit and they recast the voice actress. So
I mean, it just goes to show you that you're always replaceable. It doesn't matter, I hate to
yeah,
say it, even if I mean, I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's always dependent on if she felt like she was worth the amount of money, which I'm not. I don't play those games, so I've never really. I don't really know if it's integral to the game or if losing her is going to be that big of an issue. But I'm sure there are people that are going to be outraged by it.
I'm
So
sure somebody will. I know the Bayonetta games are big,
yeah,
but
like I said, if she thought she was worth a little bit more money and the amount of sales and the fact that it's number 3, I'm assuming they've got decent amount of sales. So I'm guessing she was maybe justified in asking a little bit more. But
maybe. I mean, for me, if this is the type of game where you only have the occasional in-game cutscene that's voice acted, and then the vast majority of the game is just unvoice acted text, then it wouldn't bother me very much.
I don't know.
If this is the type of game where the main character is constantly speaking to you, then it would be very jarring to switch voices, and I'd be more bothered by it.
Yeah. If you
So,
guys, what do you guys think? If you guys want Bayonetta, like Bayonetta's new voice or not, just let us know. The last game I'm going to point out here, and it's one of those charming little games that I enjoy. Lego Brick Tales. I know this is not something that's up your alley, but I love the Lego games, and this is kind of a new foray for Lego games. It's not the stereotypical like Indiana Jones Lego game or Star Wars or Harry Potter ones. This is like kind of a puzzle slash exploration game a little bit. It's very unique and interesting to see that I think it's TT is making it. And I want to play. I've got
going like back to Lego Island where it's like a sandbox that you
a,
just kind of
a little bit, but I think it's a little smaller than that. But it's also more of like a, hey, here's a problem for you to try to figure out. Here are some pieces to try to build things with. Try to make this work. Figure out the problem with the.
Sounds pretty cool. I would enjoy that.
And I'm all about that. So I'm really excited to see how it is. I have the demo downloaded on Steam. I want to play it a little bit just to kind of see where it
Tell
falls.
me how it is, because like games like that are open ended, like Scribble Knots was another blue.
Oh, that was so much fun.
I loved Scribble Knots. It was a ton of fun to come up with your own stuff.
Oh yeah, there's like you could literally there's hundreds of different ways to try to figure out the problem, and
the number of problems that can be solved with Cthulhu is surprisingly diverse.
Yes, there is. So, but yeah, though. So, is there anything else that pops out at you, James, before we move on?
No, I think that's about it for October. I mean, needless to say, getting into November and December, things are going to heat up as we get to the winter release schedule.
Yeah, which we will hit a little bit more of that next month. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit. These are the bigger games that I've seen. This is not a lot of indie titles, but these are the big boys coming in.
Yeah, you've got your usual gigantic list of things you're releasing on
your
different platforms.
Usual suspects. So
no, this is exciting because we're getting into the AAA stuff for the year. So it's always exciting to see things get to
things that are going to take up a little bit more of our time, as it were. So
yes.
All right, James. So let's get into the news. Anything that pops out of your fancy on here? I know
Google Stadia is dead. To nobody's surprise.
Yeah, not surprised at all, considering a lot of things that it's going to the Google graveyard, considering all the other things that are there waiting for it, like, I don't know, Google profiles or what was that thing that was, but basically it was like the...
Stadia was in a weird place because it was a subscription service, but you also had to pay for the games. It was a way to play your big computer games on your mobile device, but now the Xbox... Game Pass is offering that natively for the titles they have on there. I think it just didn't have a place to be. It didn't fit. It was an interesting idea, and it was on the chopping block whenever it came to market innovation.
Well, it really, it kind of didn't surprise me. But what really I'm thinking of is the simple fact that they dumped so much money into it from what I've seen. And let me try and find it here. It's what it's been over a couple years. Yeah, a couple years. It basically, they said that it came out in 2020, and the sheer amount of money that they've dumped into it tells me that between the time and the money they've dumped into it, it's kind of probably going to end up having a resurgence of some kind. They'll probably wait a few years, wait to see how the market kind of settles out a little bit more, and then maybe come back to it again. I don't know. It just kind of This doesn't seem like an area that Google's going to let go, because this is such a huge market for people to get into. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get a hole in one on this, or even get on the green, because this one was definitely them trying to putt around the hole and getting like way over their par. So.
Well, and I wonder if they also got licensed out of the playing field too.
I really think
we've talked a lot over the last couple of years about game publishers buying up more studios and trying to create their own self-contained ecosystems, like Steam did for PC. Like, I mean, for example, like the Xbox Studios has been furiously buying up game development studios, like really big name studios. And I wonder if they just made it clear to Google that they were not going to license on their platform anymore.
And I think that's one of the things was I think Microsoft understood that if they could probably have one challenger, aka Sony, because at this time Sony doesn't really have a lot of AAA games coming onto their platform as many as they do, but they also knew that Sony is kind of self-contained more to say Asia and Europe, and they are in America a bit, but Microsoft is not like the U.S. The Americas are like that's their home, dude. Like
Yeah.
they're going to be probably number one selling console in the U.S. for many years to come. And on top of that, the simple fact that they're making the Game Pass going to be the plan is from what I've seen is they're going to make it accessible to have on your TV with just a dongle or just an app.
Yeah, I mean Microsoft just bought Blizzard.
Like I said,
I know Blizzard's in a rough spot right now, but it's still a gaming giant, even with its difficulties.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like Microsoft is not pulling punches at this point.
No, and that's why I think that they said one competitor is okay, another competitor on our soil. Now we're good, and I think like you said, I think there was a lot of behind the scenes like licensing things that they gobbled up and basically prevented Stadia from growing having any kind of growth. And they were like, oh, okay, we already knew it was going to have a rough start, but this way we're 100% sure it's going to die on the vine.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I thought.
Like I said, you can download the Game Pass and you can play a lot of the titles with the same type of streaming service right on your iPhone or whatever type of handheld phone you have.
Yeah,
and you don't have to pay for a separate service. You don't have to license the games individually. Like I said, I think Stadia was just on the chopping block.
The only saving grace I did see about this though was that Google has basically said that they're basically going to be refunding everybody their service money till the end of the year, and they get it till the end of the year until it goes off.
People who had pre-bought service.
Yeah, and I also read a couple places though too that is some of the Stadia is also refunding some of the games because the games are blocked to the Stadia and you can't move them anywhere else. So that's a lot of money that Google's giving up.
That is an awful lot of money.
So I think they kind of, like you said, I think they jumped before they saw the firm ground on the other side, and they found out real quick it was quicksand. So
and that's kind of how Google's been for the last decade. It's a giant pile of money looking for something to be spent on, and they do a lot of startups, and some of them work out, and some of them don't.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's
let's see, what do we want to talk about next?
Yeah, so moving on from Stadia, we're gonna let's talk about something a little bit funnier. So this was something you'll find joyful. You'll find joyful. Enjoying. You'll find some enjoyment out of it. Enjoyable. That's the word I'm looking for. My brain just wasn't working right there for a minute. So obviously we were poking a little bit of fun at the new Super Mario movie, which if you guys haven't seen the trailer, this trailer looks fun. I will probably still watch the movie, even though I probably don't agree with all the casting choices. But there was actually a petition signed recently when that got dropped. It's AKA Save Mario's Butt. Apparently his booty is not plump enough.
It's not bodacious enough.
It's not. And people did side by sides of Mario and video games.
Mario's got a pretty fat booty usually.
I mean, if you think about it, the man probably ingests a lot of pasta.
Well, and when you think about it, he's an overweight plumber, right? He's not slim.
That's true, and also
all that ground pounding.
Ground pounding,
a little cushion.
Jumping.
Yeah.
So you got to have a little cushion for the ground pound. Otherwise you're gonna have a bruised up booty. So obviously that was one of the funny things I saw. It was immediately after that trailer dropped, people were like, "Save Mario's booty," and there was 1,000, over 100,000 people signed it.
It's not bootylicious enough.
I was like, that's out of all the things on that trailer that bothered me, that's the thing that somebody gravitated towards, and I'm like, okay, good for you guys. I'm glad somebody is out there.
You know what? The Sonic movie got a redo. Maybe the Mario movie will get a redo.
Hey, I love that they actually poke fun at that in the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie that they released on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. There's straight up a character called Weird Sonic, and he's got the teeth and he talks. It's hilarious.
Oh gosh,
it's good stuff. So, all right. In not so fun news, looks like that Netflix has finally dropped their information on the tier program that they're going to be.
They're doing like a new tier, like a $6 or $7 with ads tier. I mean, it's the same thing everyone else is doing. Hulu's done this for years.
Yeah.
Apparently Disney Plus has announced one as well.
Yep.
And gosh, there's a couple more services that do that too.
Well,
I think that everyone is the race to the bottom right now for the streaming services. They're trying to be the cheapest with the biggest library. I think everyone knows that people aren't going to pay for 3 or 4 streaming services forever.
No.
So they want to capture the market and price everyone else out of competition, and then try and become the platform.
This is essentially the new cable wars, essentially trying to conglomerate as much as you can. So I will be interested to see who shakes out of this, but I for one will probably not lower my Netflix subscription at all, because I don't know about you, James. I tried watching stuff on Hulu for a little while, and
it's maddening.
Even with the, like you said, that lower tier like thing, that's what Disney, because Disney, like Warner, owns them. So that $6 or $5 tier or whatever it is, I just can't get over it. It just boggles my mind. I hate ads. If I wanted to watch, if I want to find out about something through an ad, I will go look up the product. I don't need to have you shove a commercial about Tide Pods down my throat. I'm gonna buy detergent, but I'm not gonna. I will look up my own Tide or my own detergent research.
And if I want to eat a Tide Pod, I'll eat a Tide Pod. I don't need you to tell me that they're not safe.
Coming from you, James, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you would say such a thing.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna.
Is that why your breath is always so?
I'm holding back from the obvious escalation here. I was gonna say, well, we had a president who told us that we could eat Tide Pods. Oh my sweet
Jesus! Put silver. What was it? What was it? The stupid stuff.
You just inject a disinfectant into their veins.
Yeah. God, what a moron. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll leave it alone too. Yeah, I'm gonna move on from it. But anyway, so
if you haven't watched the College Humor CEO Tide Pod video,
it was pretty funny actually. Yeah,
the best thing to come out of them in like 5 or 6 years. You should go back and watch it.
Yeah, I go back every few years, and I watch Landlord video. Pearl's my jam. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be you're probably going to get about 4 to 5 minutes of ads every hour. So it's not going to be terrible. It's going to be similar to like all these other
comparable to YouTube, probably.
YouTube. What are you talking about? I have an ad blocker, James. I don't watch ads on YouTube. I do not. So
well, Google Chrome is going to stop supporting ad blockers pretty soon.
It pisses me off to death.
Yeah,
I know why they do it. It's because they own YouTube and they want their ad revenue.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, and actually, you think of Chrome as a single browser, but actually everything except for Firefox, including Microsoft Edge, is built on Chromecast. So,
yep,
it's going to be all ad blockers are going to stop working for a little while. I'm sure they'll figure it out, but
that's why I'll switch over to Firefox for a few minutes.
I think everyone's going to go back to Firefox.
Firefox is like, you love us, and everyone will be with them for 6 months until somebody figures it out, and they're like, and there'll be a mass exodus back again.
Mozilla will be like, we back, baby.
Yeah, they'll get that injection of money for a little bit. So, but yeah, so that's what's coming up with Netflix. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but we'll see the shakeout of it a little bit.
Indifferent. What's happening is they're not meeting their earning. Well, it's not that they're not making a shitload of money. It's they're not meeting their growth targets, because that's what business does now. Is it's not enough to be profitable. They need to show a growth in profits every quarter. And Netflix has failed to double this year or something, and so everyone over there is collectively losing their mind.
Well, so with this is kind of on a dour note, but with the recession hitting and whatnot, I can almost guarantee that a lot of these entertainment companies are going to see major contraction in their growth. So even with stuff like this,
I think everything shot up whenever COVID happened. I think now that people are going back to work, you're going to see less subscriptions because people are going to not be sitting on their ass watching TV all day.
And on top of the recession, I think you're going to see.
But there's just frankly more stuff, and so people are going to say, "Well, I'm not going to pay for Disney Plus and Amazon Prime and Hulu and Netflix. Yeah. So which one do I really need?" They're going to say, well, if you look at Disney Plus, it's bundled with Hulu. So
and
maybe
and ESPN. So
and my kids will scream at me if I don't have Disney Plus. So I guess that's the one I'm getting. I can watch my sports. I can watch my murder mystery shows or whatever the hell you watch, and my kids won't scream at me.
Or James, you can just put on your peg leg and get your parrot out and yar.
What?
You can pirate.
Oh yes,
you can be a pirate.
Oh, no. The Pirate Cove.
I am not advocating that at all. I'm just saying that there are alternatives out there if you guys do choose to do so. I definitely have my fair share of subscription services, but like I said, I'm. It's definitely it irritates me to see it like these prices jumping up every once in a while, and it is definitely something that kind of you're eventually at some point you have to figure out what's good, what do you want, and what not, and it might be a case where like I only do a subscription for like a month at a time and go from there in the future. So.
Well, and that's I think what I'm looking at for some of these services is just subscribe, watch everything you want to watch, and then move on to something else.
Yeah,
I think maybe the time of being a loyal everyday subscriber is going away, but they're trying to counter that with Netflix has started releasing its series in 3 or 4 episode chunks instead of dropping the whole series all at once,
which is smart on their part.
It's smart. It was inevitable.
And yeah, HBO definitely does it, and that's why a lot of those things, it's like I'll literally just hop on for a month and just watch it and then go from there. Even though everyone already knows what happened, I'll just.
That's been part of the enduring appeal of Hulu too, is they release the episodes the same time every week, and so you gotta keep coming back to it. But in other news, they're working on new Dungeons and Dragons video games.
I don't know. How do you feel about this games? Because
I'm not sure, because Wizards of the Coast has confirmed that there are as many as 6 Dungeons and Dragons games in development right now.
Yep.
One, of course, is Baldur's Gate 3, which everyone is hyped about.
It looks gorgeous.
But apparently there is another one in development, which is being made by the same guys who just did Dark Alliance. Which the best thing that could be said about Dark Alliance was that it's a hilarious train wreck of a game in the same way that maybe your original D&D campaigns were. So
it is pretty bad.
Playing it with your friends might bring back some fond memories of disasters.
I definitely watched some guys when it first came out, like the launch day gameplay, and it is buggy as all hell apparently, and it's still bad. Like and watching them play, they're like, what is it doing? They're like, I'm literally stabbing this guy like straight up, and he's not dying. And it would do things like you would kill him, and then he would automatically come back, and you'd have to try to kill him all over again. You wouldn't get your rewards. And people were just losing their minds. It was hilarious to watch.
And it's the same studio, which makes me wonder if they had a long-time contract with him, or I think Wizards of the Coast might actually own that studio, so maybe they don't have a choice.
They probably own them, honestly.
Baldur's Gate 3 should be fun. I'm sure there's another Dungeons & Dragons MMO in the works. Pathfinder just released their new MMO.
Ooh, yeah. That was good.
Which, by all accounts, is good. So...
yeah,
D&D had one for a long time, but it's pretty aged at this point. So
it is a little bit. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do another one.
Yeah, Pathfinder. Is it Pathfinder? Is what's it called? Pathfinder Kingmaker.
They did. They put their Kingmaker campaign. I don't know if it's actually a true MMO, but is
that the one you bought me?
That's the one I got you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I started to play it, and I definitely got sidetracked with stuff. So I got about 4 hours into it, and it's really good.
So maybe I should pick up a copy for myself.
I would highly recommend it. It's definitely an in-depth RPG with some. You really got to pay attention to what you're doing. It's definitely a heavy on the game mechanics.
Yeah, so it looked like it was like some of those old, Baldur's Gate 2 and stuff, where it's
definitely
pretty much the core rulebook in video game format.
100%. So if you can kind of get around that and kind of like deep dive into like what each individual thing does, you'll have fun with it.
So cautiously optimistic about the number of D&D games coming out. I'm not sure what they're all going to be, but we'll see.
So I guess in anime news, is there a whole bunch? There's not a whole lot we really want to go for on that, but
we've talked about the new season coming out. I think on last month's news episode. So I do want to talk about the Hunter x Hunter coming back.
Yep. So this is specifically the manga, so this is really interesting.
Yoshihiro Togashi is back again. He's out for 4 years this time. If you are fans of the manga series, you'll be aware that he has taken a lot of hiatuses over the years.
Well,
apparently
to be fair,
bad health. But he always comes back at quality, and so apparently he's got 10 chapters ready for the weekly stuff, and he's continuing to churn at it. So we'll see how long he goes this time. But they had 2 different anime series for Hunter x Hunter. The first one was absolute garbage. The second one was the 2011 version.
Yes.
And it ran through 2014 when it caught up with the manga at the end of the Chimera Ant arc. So I'm hoping they'll come back with more of that as well.
See, I never watched it at all. So was it pretty decent, I'm assuming?
It's a pretty good anime.
It's kind of a basic shoujin.
It's your basic kind of shoujo anime.
Shonen.
Shonen,
yeah. Sorry,
shonen
wow.
Anime. It is better paced than something like Dragon Ball or One Piece. It is.
I think about just everything's better paced than One Piece, but
it is a little slow by modern standards in that, but it's reasonably paced. If you like Hunter x Hunter, it's fun.
Okay, I might have to check it out when I get free time.
But yeah, it's a light shoujo anime, so don't expect heavy plot out of it.
What are you talking about, James? Though. I always watch shonen anime for their deep, integral plots. So,
and Yu-Gi-Oh is officially dead now.
Well. It's sad news. The creator, manga creator Tazuki Takahashi, he died actually. Unfortunately, over I believe it was this last week actually. So they said that
he was at Okinawa and there was a riptide. And he was trying to save someone from drowning, and he drowned himself.
Yeah, that's sad news. So
died a hero.
Very
unfortunate.
That was unfortunate. Like I said,
I'm not sure where this leaves Yu-Gi-Oh as a work. I know that in Japan their copyright laws are very, very author forward.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the rights go to his family now or what.
I'm sure things will work itself out, but like I said, it's more of I just wanted to throw that out that it was kind of just a bad deal over. I get what he did was really, really courageous and whatnot. I just feel bad that it happened to him, but I mean, I guess there's worse ways you can go out. I don't know. I mean, I can probably think of a few. So
I mean, going out a hero is definitely good. Drowning, not on my top 10.
Yeah, definitely not. But
I have nearly drowned before, and it's not a fun experience. So.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. But like I said, I'd be interested to see. They're probably going to be a little bit of a resurgence in the Yu-Gi-Oh properties and whatnot. But like I said, I will be interested to see how things kind of shift themselves out, and hopefully his family gets a little bit of ownership in there, because I don't even know if he's married or whatnot, but I'm sure he's got at least some close family that could be able to take over that property for him. But in final news for the week or for the month, I don't know if you ever were a fan of G4, James, but
I watched a lot of Adam and Morgan back in the day.
Yeah, and
what was the name of that program? It was
Attack of the Show.
No, not Attack of the Show.
Which one? This G4 is what it's called. Is what the channel was called.
G4 was the channel, and they had a video game news channel, a video game news show.
I have no idea, man.
I'll think about it while we
No, it's okay. But I don't know if you were up to date on this, but this is probably the big thing is that so Comcast is shut down. They had their big YouTube channel, G4 channel, and Adam Sessler,
Morgan Webb. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, Adam Sessler was,
X-Play. That's what it was.
X-Play. That's what it was.
X-Play.
Good call. They were.
X-Play was the shit back in the
day. They were. So that was like right in our area about watching, television. This is before the internet got really big.
It's like in the PS2 era, if you wanted gaming news, you watched X-Play.
100%. And it was really big back then. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But obviously, with the times, like MTV kind of fell off a little bit. And from what I gathered is this came about because the CEO of Comcast, he basically said, his son basically said, "I really want to do this, Dad," and his dad was like, "Here's a shit ton of money."
Like, well, here you go. This is your birthday present. Here's $20 million. Try it again.
Talk about way more. So, like, from what I gathered, is $20 million easy just to pay the people, like operating budget, and then on top of that, you're probably they bought out I think was reading into this old TMZ building out in California, in Los Angeles. So you're talking quite a bit of money there. And which is what you're talking like a couple million easy. if not more. And on top of that, all the equipment they had to buy to furnish this thing and whatnot.
And satellite time and
God, so much, dude.
It's an obscene amount of money.
Obscene amount of money, and it only lasted a year. But from what I gathered is when they set this up, the only person that the original cast person that could come back was Adam Sessler. From what I gathered, though, too, apparently he's kind of been like cordoned off by the gaming.
I watched a little bit of whenever they had him first come back, and I could tell he was kind of excited to be back, but it really wasn't the same show anymore.
No.
Before, X-Play was Adam Sessler's show.
Oh, yeah.
It was nerdy, it was campy, it was him making goofy, stupid jokes, and the new one tried way too hard to be cool.
Yeah.
It just felt really artificial. It wasn't.
Well, kind of going into this a little bit more, I know from what I gather, and you can probably look this up later on if you feel necessary for it. But whenever they first started, they had Adam come back, and he had kind of been cordoned off by the gaming people, the gaming news people, just because he's just kind of mean and just rude to people that didn't align with him politically, from what I've gathered.
Really?
Yeah, really bad, apparently.
They didn't come out in the original series, but then again, he's 20 years older now, too. So
his give a shit level has gone down quite a bit, probably.
More grump now, I'm sure.
100%. So, and from what I gathered is also there was an on-screen rant from one of the new commentators that was on there about some of these sexist comments that were going through the chat while they were going through.
Yeah, live chat on a live broadcast is just not a good idea.
So, yeah, I think that coupled with just not the amount of views that they're looking for to pull in some revenue, I think that plus that just solidified that this thing was just not going to make it, from what I gathered.
Well, traditional cable is a dying platform anyway, so
100%. And even them pushing this directly to YouTube and trying to run it that way, it just still wasn't there, man.
No.
And so I think it was just kind of I remember like you said, I kind of wanted to check out what it was when I first started, and it definitely, I could already tell, I was like, this isn't the same kind of show that I'm looking for. But it had things like the one video guy I was showing you, the completionist.
He had a bit, yeah.
He was on there, and he was really invested into it, but I don't think they pulled enough big name talent, and I don't think they had aligning viewpoints on what they should be trying to do with the show, and I think that was one of the biggest problems they had with it. So
yeah, and that was the impression I had. They had some well-known content creators like the Completionist who had good segments.
Yeah.
They tried to pull back in some of the old campy crowd.
Yeah.
They tried to make it more of a live service Twitch stream type thing, and then they also tried to make it like a serious, cool, kind of weird, hardcore gamers type thing, and it didn't know what it was.
It really didn't, and I just don't think they had a correct vision to do it. But the worst part of this news, though, was apparently they got leaked. Basically the dissolution of the company got leaked onto Twitter.
Oh no!
Like the day before they were going to announce it.
Oh.
And a lot of the
employees didn't.
A lot of the employees, including the completionist guy, goes, "Cool, I didn't know anything about this. This is how I'm finding out that I'm getting fired."
Yeah.
Apparently they were going to just spring this out of the blue on a lot of people. And I was like, that's kind of a shit thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah. It probably got decided months ago, but the final word was all behind closed doors, and they waited till the last possible second.
Yeah, and that's kind of a shitty thing to do to people that, obviously, some of the people at least, that poured their heart and soul into this kind of thing.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. I mean, just because the overall direction wasn't there doesn't mean that everyone with their boots on the ground didn't work their ass off.
Oh, 100%. So, but yeah, that's kind of the sad end of that. But like I said, I think you're going to see this a little bit more. You're going to see a little bit more of these bigger or medium style entertainment, gaming news outlets kind of folding up a little bit. Over the next year or so, because they're either going to get bought up or they're just not going to be able to compete with the bigger ones. So
Yeah.
That's definitely it's all about the views nowadays. So unless you're like us and you just don't give a shit about the views and you're just doing it for fun. So
pretty much, yeah.
that's 100%. So, but is there anything else, James, that you want to talk about before we skedaddle out of here today? Because I know that's not the greatest note to end on, but I know that wasn't. It was a little bit of a downer news month, but yeah,
I think that's good. I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about. So
okay, well, in that case, then, other than that, I want to say thanks for coming in and waxing a little bit with me. We will be back again next month for some more news. It'll be probably a little bit more heavy on the game releases next month, like you were saying earlier.
Definitely, November is going to heat up.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. So, James, this time next month, hopefully you have a little bit more of a tan, I hope. I know. It's going to be so much fun. And I will probably have a little bit more frost on my chin from going north. You're going south. I'm going north.
I'm going to send you some insufferable pictures, don't worry.
I hope you do. I hope you do because well, okay, put it this way. If you send me pictures, nice pictures of nicely garnished cocktails, I will be okay with it.
Okay, good.
I will be okay with that. So, all right, guys, we're going to get out of here, and we will see you next month and later on in the month for our review, which I think you guys will be happy with. So, all right, James, talk to you later.
Adios.
See you, man. If you're interested in keeping up to date with new episodes on our channel, add us on any of your favorite podcasting apps, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Seriously Pointless Conversations. If you have questions or concerns, please email us at seriouslypointlessconvo@gmail.com. We appreciate any feedback. Thank you for listening to our show.